What's going on, lads and lasses? Welcome back to 100% Mags. So, of course, Newcastle are back in Premier League action after a crazy last few weeks for us Newcastle United fans, celebrating, of course, our Carabao Cup win against Liverpool down at the final on the 16th, of course, of March, when, of course, we finally ended a 70-year wait for our domestic trophy to come home to Newcastle United. And now that that is over, of course, it will be lodged in our memories for the rest of our lives. And what a special day it was as well to see the lads on Saturday just gone, driving through the city on an open top bus, just drinking in the absolutely amazing atmosphere. So many people there, well over 300,000 people to see the lads come into the city with the trophy and bring home that trophy to the club. The first trophy we have seen at this club in 56 years, and the first domestic trophy we've seen at this club in 70 years. But now that that is done with, and we move on now to get back to action in our first game back since our final, as we take on Brentford tomorrow in a 7:45 kickoff, non-televised, however, as we take on Thomas Frank's side at St James's Park, a side that we had to beat to get to the final of the Carabao Cup, of course. With us winning against them, and that being the last match we played against them as well at St James's Park, and it was a 3-1 success in the quarter-final back in December against, of course, Brentford at St James's Park. But now we have to do it all over again. We have to go into this game tomorrow against Thomas Frank's men, and we have to get straight back to action. The season's not over just because we've won the cup. We've got to focus now on getting the dream that we wanted to get 2 years ago. We've got a chance of doing that now. We've got a chance of getting Champions League and a cup, just like we wanted 2 years ago when we made the final against Man United. And unfortunately, we weren't able to see that through for the cup, but we were able, of course, to get ourselves into a Champions League spot, but now we've got the chance to do it, so we've just got to go in with the right mentality, looking at what is ahead of us as well. We've got some really good winnable games coming up. You know, we've got this game against Brentford, then we've got Leicester after that, we've got a game against Mania, you know, the easy fixtures, if you will, of course, are right around the corner for us, and that's not being, you know, deluded. Looking at the way these teams are playing that we're going to be going up against, you know, there's every chance of us coming away from these next 6 games with a positive result in our favour. And looking at it as well, you know, we currently sit 6th in the table on 47 points, with Brentford 6 points and 5 places behind that, having played a game more. So, you know, it's really looking positive for us, and this will be a chance for us to get, you know, that Champions League football. And looking at it, it's going to be a really interesting game. Obviously, Thomas Frank always lines these Brentford Bees up, you know, with a really good setup. They always come to dominate games, and they're a really good side, you know, so we do need to take this game with the utmost confidence, the utmost interest, you know, pay full attention to them in this game, because they will be coming here to try and cause an upset, especially after seeing what we did over the last few weeks. They will be coming here to try and spoil the party on Tyneside, and we will have to do our best to try and stop them from doing that. Looking at, of course, the team news from the Brentford side of things, Fabio Carvalho and Aaron Hickey remain out. Michael Cado, Rico Henry, Matthias Janssen, Igor Thiago and Josh Da Silva could all return to the squad. And since a 2-1 loss at Chelsea last December, Brentford are unbeaten on the road in the Premier League this season, picking up a 0-0 draw against Brighton, followed by victories against Southampton, Palace, West Ham and Leicester, and of course Bournemouth as well. And then looking at our team news going into the game, obviously Anthony Gordon is going to be serving the third and final game of his suspension, but Eddie Howe did talk about him in his press conference, of course, going into this game tomorrow, and he says that Gordon has bruising on a thigh injury, hasn't trained with the squad yet. However, it is planned that he will train before the Leicester game on Monday. Then, of course, there is the bookings around Joe Linton, who's on 9 bookings, is one away from a caution from serving a 2-match ban. So Joe Linton's going to have to be very careful with the way he does his tackles in the game, and Dan Burn is 2 away from a similar fate as well. So he's also going to have to be very careful with how he goes about himself in the game. And in order to avoid bans, of course, they need to avoid reaching 10 yellows during the next 4 Premier League games. Sven Botman and Lewis Hall remain sidelined following surgery, while injury victim Jamal Lascelles is nearing a return to the squad a year after his last appearance. And of course, a little bit more on Sven Botman. He had a minor operation on his knee, which was expected to be out for 6 to 8 weeks, but he's ahead of schedule and should return in May, according to what Eddie Howe is saying. And Eddie Howe did have a little bit of talk on contracts as well to talk about in his press conference today, saying that Fabian Schär will sign a new contract imminently if he hasn't done so already. So that's great news because Fabs is a really, really good centre-back. Obviously, I would like to say we're also looking at bringing in somebody in that right centre-back position as well, so that, you know, we can have somebody to play in there when Fabs is not available, or when Fabs is, you know, a little bit fatigued of playing too many games. Because, don't get us wrong, Fabs is a brilliant servant for the club, but we do need to be looking at also bringing in a future player to come in there as well. But I'm sure the club will be doing that in the summer window when we get around to that. Looking at, of course, the referee and the VAR for this game, it is Peter Wank's 3rd turn posting of the season for the Lancashire official, of course, Scouse official, Peter Banks, after the 3-1 Premier League defeat at Fulham and a 1-0 Premier League home loss to Brighton. So he's not a very good omen for us Newcastle United fans. Peter Wanks has always been one of them officials that just seems to really get on the tit of all of us Newcastle fans, and he always seems to get things wrong in the game, probably because of him being from Liverpool. He's just got a serious hatred for Newcastle. I just don't get it. I really don't. But he should be a lot more neutral. He shouldn't even be near the games, to be honest, when, you know, you're that one-sided in your officiating. Brentford have also lost both of their games with Banks as well, taking charge of this time around. VAR will be, of course, Craig Pawson. So again, it is another Northwest contingent that we are seeing this season in the officiating side of things, but hopefully they don't have to be involved in the game too much. But like I say, this is the first game back, Sunset final down in Wembley. You know, Eddie is going to have the lads, I'm sure, drilled for this one, ready to go in there and get the result and give us Geordies more to cheer about in the weeks ahead. But, you know, there was no drinking whatsoever from the players on the parade. Eddie was strict on that. You know, the players were strict on that as well. They wanted to be focused for this game against Brentford. They did not want to be, you know, having hangovers going into this game against Brentford, because that is the wrong mentality to set, and it is the wrong example to set as well to all of the people looking up to these players and looking up to the likes of Eddie, you know, because we need to stay professional. The season's not over yet. We've still got quite a few games to play, and we'll have the chance of finishing in a Champions League spot. So we need to get the job done on the league side of things, and then after that you can party as much as you want. The players can go out there, can go on their holidays and party as much as they want, and get ready, for that internationals, and of course then next season as well, where we'll go again even harder next season than what we have done this season. But let us know your thoughts anyway down in the comments below. As always, remember to like, share, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you all in the next one. How are the lads?